What's up, Devils? Gino back to knock out another goddamn video. And the questions we're going over this video are on batch of questions that were submitted on does U.S. metal get its justified respect or only Norway, Sweden, Finland, etc. 1.2K views posted 2 weeks ago, goddammit. 140 comments. Let's see what the fuck we got. Henrik K. Doesn't look like a fucking question, but kind of an interesting comment. That's crazy about how few people were into metal at your high school. I'm your age, and I went to a high school with 1,000 students at the time. See, I can't remember. There was about maybe it was 1,000 or 2,000 in Medina High School. I can't remember the time, but definitely over 1,000. And it was at the very least 20 kids into death metal or black metal, maybe even closer to 30. Bringing the people who were only into heavy or power metal, and you're definitely at 50 people. This is in Sweden, though. Oh, dude, that's everything. Yeah, dude, United States of America fucking sucks, bro. In a small town with a good scene at the time. Not sure how many kids that age are into it right now, but I see the occasional Death and Dark Throne shirt on kids walking in and out of there. Yeah, no, dude, I can guarantee it's very, very similar. I'm sure there's some deathcore fucking canoes walking around. And for me, let me clarify, I'm not going to say that nobody else in the high school listened to any metal whatsoever. Yeah, you get the Pantera guys, the Slipknot guys, and all that shit, so I guess technically that's metal. But when I talk about metal, I'm talking about what I'm into, the extreme metal underground. And the reason why I do that is not necessarily just because that's what I'm a fan of. Yes, that is part of it, because what the fuck, of course I'm going to talk about it because that's the shit I like. But at the same time, did you ever notice the people that are just like the bigger shit, nonchalant, like I like Propane or I like Pantera and all that stuff, they're not passionate music fans. They're just not. I mean, I'm sure there's some out there. Think about it. How many Pantera guys have you ever met? And I know they exist because they sell stuff that are vinyl record collectors. I'm talking about those guys that come up to you, hey, dude, what's fucking heavier than Pantera? Those guys. Very fucking few. How many collect CDs? How many collect records? Very few. They listened to it on the radio. They picked up a disc here and there, and then they sold it when they got out of high school, got out of college. They're not music fucking fans. That's why I kind of dog them in a sense. And again, I know there's outliers. I'm sure there's guys that have been in them since the power metal. You're the outlier, man. You're flat out the outlier. And I guarantee if you're in that category, you're that outlier, you probably also are one of the true metal fans that actually listen to metal. So what I was getting at, you have those guys, and you also have the occasional, yeah, well, I know who Cradle of Filth is. I'm not fucking impressed that you know who Cradle of Filth is. Now, let's clarify, too, for the Goatmans and shit out there that fucking weren't even alive when I was in high school. Cradle of Filth was big back then, but it's nowhere near as big as they are now. So my litmus test for the high school was bands that were even smaller back then, bands like Mortician, Immolation, Dark Funeral. Yes, these were bands that you should know who they are. Monstrosity, Malevolent Creation. But those bands, they're definitely bigger now. For fucking sure. Immolation, Incantation. So my litmus test was all those bands I just mentioned, though, even back in, 98, 99, 2000, when I was, in high school, it was literally like, if you haven't even heard of those bands, you don't know what I'm talking about. Not even just heard of them, you've actually heard them. You don't have to like them. Then you're not in the metal. You're not in the same thing that I'm talking about. You may like some fucking metal bands, like I clarified, even if you like the Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, but I'm not fucking impressed. To me, you're not into the same shit. If you have not heard those bands, and you're allowed to dislike every one of them. Yeah, I heard them, don't like them. Know them, heard them top to bottom. But to me, if you haven't, you're not in this fucking realm. You're not checking out music. You're not buying music because it's kind of like, what do you mean you haven't heard those fucking bands? You get that point. If you were in the underground, you heard of them. You heard them. You know what I mean? And even like, for example, you take someone like a Brian Baxter or whatever, he doesn't like most of black metal, right? You mentioned any of the black metal, but he heard it. He knows what it is. That's fine. See, he's in the fucking loop. He knows. He's a music man. Checks out music, likes extreme music. So it's like, when you got those, and the people, that's what I'm gauging at when I say nobody in my high school was into it. Okay, yeah, I got a couple here. Yeah, I've heard of Cannibal Corpse. Oh, yeah, that Hammer Smash Face song. Even those people were rare. But yeah, maybe half a dozen were like that. But that doesn't get you don't get a fucking metal card for that, man. You just fucking don't. So that was my latest test. But yeah, Sweden, dude, you guys are running circles around us. I'm telling you right now, it's very, very, very fucking rare that I even walk into the grocery store, anywhere in public, my gym, where I see a bigger metal band shirt. Again, I don't count this deathcore fucking garbage that I don't even know, because quite frankly, I don't even know what the fuck it is. I don't even know if it's metal or not, because I haven't heard it. And you can just tell it looks all trendy and fucking shit. But I'm talking about bigger metal bands like Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, put the Dark Thrones in there. Hell, I'll even throw Cradle of Filth in there. It's very rare I see a shirt. Probably the biggest band I see the most of, if I do see somebody, is a Cradle of Filth shirt, and that's very fucking rare. Very fucking rare. Um, Deicide in public, walking around in a grocery store, not in a metal show, not there's a show down the street, and yeah, he's just walking through Walgreens to buy some fucking earplugs to go to the show. No, don't fucking count. I'm talking about out and about. Even to see a Deicide shirt, I can honestly say, in my entire fucking lifetime in a public setting, Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, so use those two big bands, Morbid Angel. I know I did see a Deicide shirt once. But all of them combined, in my entire lifetime, maybe 5 times I've seen it. Seriously, I'm not even joking. That's the. I've been to France before several times, and even in France, every time I was there walking the grocery store, I saw a metal shirt. Always. Dark Throne. I saw a Marduk shirt. It seemed like it was definitely more black metal, but I definitely think I seen a. Wasn't Malevolent Creation. It was a kind of like a bigger death metal band. Band I was a fan. I think it was Incantation, actually. I think it was an Incantation shirt. This was probably like in 2008, 2007, 2009, around that time. That's when I was going back and forth there. I've been to France, I think, like 5 or 6 times. Every time I was in a public setting, every single time I saw, like, I mean, they weren't flocking everywhere, but if I went to the grocery store or whatever, or the mall, I saw somebody wearing a metal shirt. Here, like I said, maybe 5 times in my life. Maybe. And I'm talking malls, grocery stores, gas stations, fucking school, whatever, you name it. Whatever the fuck else they're good. Movie theater. Yeah, maybe 5 times. So that's just a good. You're probably like, what the fuck? Dude, Sweden. You're running as far as music scene and people that actually listen to real music. You guys are running circles around this shit ass fucking country. Everyone over here fucking sucks, man. They're just in the gayest shit imaginable. You want to grab your barf bag. I've never been to Sweden, but I could just tell. I could just tell by the bands that come out there. You could just tell by just everything. Just as far as that, you guys are running circles around us. I don't know about everything else over there. You might have some. I hear you guys fucking throw people in jail for fucking if they look like they look basically even look like they work out, which is beyond fucking crazy to me. But so in that case, we got you beat big time. The Accuser, J-Dog, you hear the new Hell Awaits cover by Incantation that just released? I love Incantation. Excited to see them live again in a couple weeks. Didn't they? The Hell Awaits cover, I don't think that's new. Isn't that around like Blasphemy era? Who sings on it? Is it Mike that sings on it? If it is, then it's just a re-release. I want to say that I have something around either Blasphemy, Infernal Storm. You know what? I want to say it's Infernal Storm, maybe a Japanese pressing, or a bonus track, Hell Awaits. I could be wrong on that. But if it's Mike singing on it, Mike that sings on Infernal Storm, Blasphemy, and I think those are the only 2 albums he sings on. And I think it is Infernal Storm. If it's Mike singing on it, I definitely have already. That's old. That's early 2000s, and I have heard it. And I do like it. Like Scream Bloody Gore, that's on Forsaken Morning of Angelic Anguish. They cover that. That was really good. I'm trying to think what other Incantation covers. I know. If you want to blank, I thought I definitely did cover somebody else that I know. But yeah, I want to say I definitely know the Hell Awaits cover. Also, beyond question, who assigns the genre tags to the music on the Hell's website? For example, a release being listed as Death Thrash. Do you listen to everything and manually assign a tag, or is it automatically generated by your inventory system? Was always curious about that. Not sure why. The fact that you said the words, "Do you listen to everything that comes through?" is beyond hilarious to me. Because even if you wanted to, it'd literally be physically impossible. If you saw the amount of shit that comes in, like say you get 3 copies of one title, 10 of another, 100 of one, they would literally be there's just not many hours in a day. Like you couldn't even live a lifetime to do it. You just couldn't. So no, nobody's sitting there listening at all. I believe it's Dave that does that. And from what I understand is he just gets whoever we get it from. What does the description say? Now, if it's something like got no description, you get fucking Emperor in the Night Side Eclipse. I mean, obviously he knows what the fuck it is. He's gonna put black metal, right? Ninox 111 JD. What label factory out there pressed the best vinyl sound quality for extreme metal? I don't know. I mean, Everyone goes through GZ Vinyl over in the Czech Republic, but there's also, I believe it's called Erica, and they're out in the California. We've used them. I think the only thing we pressed with Erica, don't quote me on this, is the Nunslaughter Blasphemer 7-inch. It's the one-sided 7-inch with the etching on the other side. I think we pressed that with them. That was a long fucking time ago, though. And we might have pressed one of the things with them. But all the rest is go through GZ, and that's pretty much whoever it goes through. But I never heard a vinyl that came through. I'm like, this sounds like shit that we did. So I think they're all probably comparable, the big boys. You know what I mean? They all have the technology to do it. Carpenter underscore corpse. Thanks for the video, J Dog. Question: have you thought about getting an Instagram account? Thought about it, but it probably won't. You definitely would reach more devils and dolls that way. Plus, it would be cool for comments on random shit or YouTube vids as well. I've kept up on current death and block model using Instagram. There is a shit ton of info out there, and at times can be a bit overwhelming, but I think you would dig it. Yeah, I thought about it, but probably not. To be honest with you, I've never been on Instagram in my life. The only time I kind of seen it is Lindsay has one. I don't even know if she posts. Like, I know she has posted stuff on there, but like just little dicking around shit. Definitely not something she does regularly. And sometimes I just see her like if we're laying in bed or whatever, watching TV for the night. She's sometimes just looking at Instagram shit, whether it be about cats or whatever, or workout stuff. Just anything, just searching other people's. So I kind of have an idea what it looks like, but you never know. I mean, I wasn't planning on doing a YouTube account, so I guess if enough people keep begging and begging and begging and begging and asking me, maybe I will. So never say never. Destroyer, Destroyer of Worlds. Early Cataclysm is fucking ferocious, so unique and deadly. His vocals were as pissed off as they get. EP and first two full lengths are mandatory. 100% agree. It's funny because I kind of didn't realize it, but at the same time did realize it. I was like, I remember hearing about when the tour was announced, and then I forgot. I'm like, who's opening for him? I'm going to go see Deicide next week. By the time you see this video, fucking, I've already seen him. And I was like, who's the opener? And it's Cataclysm. I'm like, all right. Because whoo-wee, you want to talk about a band that fucking changed and sounds nothing like they started. I'll go on record and say I think Cataclysm. I mean, I haven't heard. It's been years since I've listened to anything later, but I've heard later ones, the ones in the 2000s and stuff. They literally changed more than fucking Metallica or Amorphous, or if not more, as much. If you've heard Cataclysm later albums and you're like, this band sucks, what is J-Dog talking about Cataclysm? I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about their first. Temple and Knowledge is my favorite, and there's the Sorcery album, the 7-inch, the very, very early stuff. That stuff is fucking phenomenal. Nobody sounds like them, aggressive as fuck, ferocious as fuck. And actually, Cataclysm and Cryptopsy, that was probably the first Canadian stuff I've ever heard. I mean, there might be somebody else, but I heard all that early Cataclysm stuff, first two Cryptopsies, before I heard bands like Razor, Exciter, Slaughter, all the, Sacrifice. I heard those bands a few years after. You got to remember when part of the reason was because when I was a teenager, we're talking late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of that stuff was completely out of print. So you couldn't just get it. Like Razor, you couldn't just walk in and like fucking buy, any of the early Razor albums. To be honest with you, like you guys, the young devils kind of take it for granted. Now I'll just go over to Hell's Headbangers or High Roller Records, and it's just available because Hammer Harp Records re-put it out, or whoever did High Roll, or whoever did. I think Hammer Harp, both of them did some. And Shadow Kingdom Records just just pick up the first, just pick Torment and Fire up, by Sacrifice, no problem, right? It wasn't like that. The only way you're going to get it is you got to buy it off somebody's collection from eBay. Not even Discogs. You had to fucking do a goddamn bid. That was the only fucking way you were going to get it. Or if you get the audio, an older devil that had it, burned it for you, or dubbed it on a cassette for you. That was it. So stuff that was still available, Cataclysm, it was kind of what was available. And plus, I mean, the more extreme stuff is what I was getting into at the very earlier ages. So I think it was, probably is somebody else in there forgetting, probably a death metal band too, though. And I've heard my first Canadian bands that I really got into, and that's probably why they're my favorites. Especially first two Cryptopsies are my favorite, but the early Cataclysms are right there next. Right there with them. I mean, there's, I definitely take Cryptopsy over them, just song-wise, but Cataclysm was equal. They're equal in the sense that those were super ferocious, and just like those first two Cryptopsies, like you're like, this doesn't sound like, that brutal shit sounds the same. You're telling me those None So Vile sounds the same as Deeds of Flesh, and Dying Fetus, and Leviticity, and Mortician. fuck you talking about? Get your ears clean. Like, doesn't sound anything like them. You know what I mean? Kind of like Cataclysm too. Super extreme shit too. You compare them to other bands. Like, doesn't sound anything like anybody else. It sounds like Incantation. Get the fuck out of town, bruh. Doesn't sound anything like them. You know what I mean? It's just because people will say that. All that, yeah, all the brutal shit all sounds the same. Oh no. I mean, there's definitely bands that do. There's bands that are ripping off. A million bands that try to sound like Incantation. Not debating that. But a lot of bands sound different. Matthew Hamilton. Hey, J-Bubs. You mentioned in one of your videos that you guys are working on Rotting Crushed LP. Correct. When is that going to reach the store? I am from Toronto. And I have the chance to see Rotting live a few times. Have you? They were fucking good. Never got to see Rotting, another Canadian band. That was at be up there too, because when I picked up Rotting Crushed, it was definitely after Cataclysm and Cryptopsy, but I was probably 15 or 16 years old, so that would have been 2000, 2001. And I know I bought it from Brian Baxter's shop. Loved it then, love it now. Same CD I fucking have. As far as when that'll be out, oh fuck, man. Keith hasn't even finished the layout yet. He's definitely shown me progress, so it's not too long. We're going to do a CD and an LP. The CD will probably have a couple bonus tracks. LP will just be sounding like it's just going to be the actual album, which is kind of what I want. Just, album only on vinyl. Let's say he finishes it in 2 weeks from now, right? Let's just say we submit the press immediately, which I'm sure it won't be. But let's just say it is 1 year after that. So you're talking, honestly, with everything, realistically, when it's done out, like you can pick it up, like put on your turntable, fucking wrecking your neck, banging your head to, end of next year, beginning of 2024. It's that long, literally. But the biggest reason is because this is a new thing in the last 2 years. The vinyl pressing plants, you submit a vinyl, it'll be 12 months. That's literally what they tell you. Now, it used to be 8 to 12 weeks. That was the norm. Like 5 years ago, 8 to 12 weeks. Ever since it was about, 6 months after COVID, when everyone was like, oh, the world's coming to an end and the economy's going to collapse, and all those idiots with their fucking theories, and yet it was the exact opposite. Fucking shit booming more than ever. Yeah, inflation. There's inflation. That sucks fucking shit. But as far as even the vinyl plants, every one of them I talked to, like, this is literally the busiest we've ever been in the entire company history. Some of the guys, they've been doing it for 40 years. Busiest we've ever been, ever, by a milestone. So all the dum-dums claiming that shit. The world's going to black out and stuff. I heard all that. Gas prices again in the U.S. going to be $6 a gallon in August. Heard that from some dum-dum back in June. It went down. It's like $3.50 now. Those idiots with the predictions. Stressing out over shit that they can't control. It doesn't even happen. So you're stressing out about it. You can't even control it. It doesn't even happen. It's like it took probably 5 years off your life with all that stress. It doesn't even come to fruition. And even if it was, you couldn't do anything about it anyways. Fucking start paying attention to shit that you can fucking control, brah. Waste your fucking time. Little Lover 90. Hey, brah, will HH have the Nunslaughter red as the color of Ripping Death gold vinyl from Osmos available on your website? Probably not, unless we get like 3 to 5 extra shipped to us, because that was an exclusive color press just for him. I believe only 100 copies. Vincent Blitcroft, nice shirt, J Dog. How was the Left to Die show? It was fan-fucking-tastic. You missed out, then you missed out. And it was packed to the gills in there, which I was glad to see. I was just kind of surprised. It was on a weeknight, and just didn't know what to expect. But I knew there was going to be a ghost town, but I didn't expect it. It was like packed. I was like, fuck. Chris Howard, Cannibal Immolation Dark Funeral Tour. Who fucking going? My opinion, who fucking not going? Bunch of fucking posers in my book not going. Mordant Red. Whatever happened to Disfigure Dead? You released their full length Visions of Death into 2010. It was a great basic death metal album with distinctive cover art. Did one of those guys get AIDS? I don't know anything about AIDS. Is that like a joke, or is that something kind of like two replies in? What do they say? It says they split up a metal all archives, all moved on to different bands. More than Red. That is too bad. The debut and second full length was pretty good. So yeah, actually, so Disfigure Dead, I remember that release kind of like it was yesterday. What was initially we got was I'm assuming it's a demo or promo. It was like 5 songs. Loved that. All those songs made it to the album. And when the album came out, I liked it. I do like the Disfigure Dead album quite a bit actually. But what I did notice was I was like, all the best songs were from the demo, promo, whatever the fuck it was. I can't even remember because it was just on a CDR that they sent us. I'm like, and all the newer, the new songs that made it to the album, I'm like, they're good, but they're definitely not as strong. And then when they went to go Minister to their second album, we were kind of busy, and I was kind of like, I don't. It's been a while since I heard it. I remember it being more technical, and I'm saying it's like, I don't really like it, man. And it's not like they flew off the shelves for us. Like first of all, it was a business move. It's like it's the biggest seller or anything like that. And they're already kind of changed. I'm like, I don't really like it, and we were busy, so that's why we didn't do it. And then after that, I mean, did they even do a third album? I don't even know. Because after when I heard the second preview, I'm like, it doesn't suck. I'm like, it's going more technical and shit. I'm like, guys, just stick to that fucking. I mean, you had that formula going. When you're like, it was like that autopsy, severed survival / death scream, bloody gore kind of like thing going on. Wasn't too common at the time being done. It's like just stick with that. You had good catchy songs. Now you're trying to play like fucking suffocation or something. It's like just or I mean, it might even been like even like later Cannibal Corpse kind of stuff where it's like this now you guys turned into a different band. Your second album, come on, man, you're pulling the tune already. Like just what the fuck you doing? This fucking phone. Super Vomit, J Dog question: is it safe to say that then Canada has the softest metal in the world? Softest as in pussy boy metal? Think that's what you're getting at. I don't know. I definitely never said that. And where the fuck are you getting that impression? Just talking about Cryptopsy, Cataclysm, Rotting, and then the classics. You got Razor, Sacrifice, Infernal Majesty, Exciter, um, got Blasphemy from there. I mean, I'm not big on Blasphemy, but goddamn, they're a classic, and I don't want to call them soft by any fucking stretch of the imagination. I mean, who else am I leaving out? I mean, a ton of others like soft, like kind of speechless to be honest with you. Unless you're talking, unless soft means a different thing to you, you got 6 replies. We'll finish it off right here. Dinkins, I'm surprised there isn't a bunch of angry Canadians in here yelling at you. Can't agree. Uh, Nobody really saying anything of use, but yeah, no, I disagree. I don't know if Canada has a shitload of good bands. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, you might want to fucking yeah. I don't know what the fuck you heard, but anywho, that's it for this one. Comments, questions, concerns, you know what the fuck to do. Leave it in the goddamn comments box and see you later.